Good morning and welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. I know a lot of you have found this to be a difficult time of your life, and I'm here to help you. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a lawyer, but I have a lot of years of experience of fighting CPS, over 15 years. I too was victim of CPS. And I have 43 years of marriage experience and have raised 6 children. And I have um, over 61 years of working and life skills that I can help you with. So I'm glad you found me. Now, a couple things to keep in mind um, is there's lots of ways you can interact with this live stream. You can do emojis. You can do like smiley faces, thumbs up, stars. They're great. Also, you can follow this live stream and do reviews. I love to have reviews, so that is really good. Um, the other thing that I put up there is my banner of how to text messages into my live stream. All you have to do is forgot to put it up there. All you have to do is text a message, um, either a question or a comment about CPS. Please state your first name, your city or county, and your state. And if you're from around the world, your country. I'd like to hear from everybody because this is a live broadcast. And so far, I've heard from Indonesia, Bangladesh, India. In the Middle East, I have Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Libya. Then in the continent of Africa, I have Liberia, Sudan, Republic of Congo. Um, I have Rwanda, Mozambique, and then South Africa and its provinces. Then up to Europe, I have the United Kingdom, England, Scotland, and Wales, and Denmark and Sweden. Then across the pond to North America, I have Canada and its provinces. And then further south, in North America, I have the United States. And all 50 states have either called in or texted a message, including Washington, D.C., including the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. And south of the border have Mexico, and further south in South America, north of Brazil, on the East Coast, Grenada. Then in the South Pacific, I have New Zealand, and then the land down under, Australia and its states. That's 24 countries and 50 states and Washington, D.C. That's a lot of places. I've talked to over 2,800 people from around the world. And everybody, including myself, has something in common. We ran into a rogue CPS entity. It's hard to determine which ones are good, which ones are bad. And it is a hard thing. It is a hard thing. Now we have Rocky. I haven't seen you in a couple days. And Rocky is from New York. And thank you for the time on the East Coast. Rocky is 3 hours ahead of me. I'm on the Pacific Coast, California, and I'm on Pacific Standard Time. And my shows start at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday and at 8 a.m. on the weekends. And then in nighttime, I'm on at 7 p.m. every night of the week. And those are my 14 live streams. Another way to interact is that you can be a guest on my live stream. All you have to do is email me to Bob P at Vincent W. Davis, Bob P at VincentWDavis.com. And you just pick one of my 14 shows. And all you have to do is say, I'm going to be Bob's Sunday morning show or Friday night show or Monday morning show. You just pick one of the days of the week, either morning or evening. When I get your email, I'll forward it on to my show producer, who will send you a link to StreamYard. That's the software application that I'm coming to you on. Uh, StreamYard uses the YouTube to televise and bring the live stream live to you all. And so I'd love for you to be a guest. I can take up 9 of you at one time. That'd be with me a total of 10 people. And most have had 4, but it's nice if you want to come with a friend or a neighbor or somebody that has a similar situation. So, you know, one of my callers here is a regular. His name is Rocky, and he's from New York. He has a brother he's trying to help in Virginia. Wow, this is Barkley. You're going to head to town. I've been praying for you all night, Bartley, and I know that you're excited about go to court. Bartley is from Montana, and she has a very important case this morning. She has a status hearing on her CPS case to try to get back her young son, her 5-year-old son. And you go, girl. You dress professionally, you act professionally, and you show the court how much love you have for your boy. It's okay. I know once you leave, you don't have internet. I don't know if your phone can do internet, but my phone can. But anyway, I know that Virginia is backwards and corrupt, but maybe your brother would like to come on, Rocky, and you and your brother could be a guest of my show, and maybe I can help out your brother. Bartley says the attorney said the state will speak, and then she'll speak, and then I get to speak. That's good. That's good because you be last. We'll be able to wrap up or interject something you didn't like what the attorney said for the state or what your attorney didn't say. Now, you have a court appointed attorney, and it's glad that she is very supportive of you. And you're welcome, Bartley. I'm there for you, and I'll talk to you tonight after the outcome. I hope and pray that everything goes your way. It should be a good session there. No question about it. Don't forget to gather all your documentation and all your notes and everything. You'll be fine. You'll be fine, Bartley. You'll be really fine. This is what this room does. It helps you. I like to troubleshoot and do help you. And I've helped a lot of people get their children or keep their children or get an attorney or how to deal with CPS. It's hard to navigate with an entity that is so corrupt. 50% of the child protection entities are very corrupt out there, are very, very, very corrupt. And so it's it's a hard thing that you're faced with. It's a hard thing you're faced with. Now I need to put my phone number up. Oh, before I forget, the rules are simple to be on my podcast, or even when you text in here. First rule is to be civil with each other. We do not allow politics or disruption in the room, and we want respect for one another. There's no profanity that's allowed in this room. No smoking or eating during the show, the live stream. And lastly, we do not use the names of children, social workers, or judges. Now, another way to interact is that you can go ahead and call me. I have a private number on my phone. I use Vonage. It's an internet program that does your phone. You don't have to have it to talk to me. It just gives me another phone line. I have my carrier phone line, and then I have Vonage, it's a internet software. And my number is 626-698-0990. That's 626-698-0990. And I really encourage you to call in because it's a lot easier to discuss your case if you can talk about it, because it's hard when you text in because it's like ping pong ball. You say one thing and then you say another, and it goes really slow at times. So talking is usually the best. Voice is usually the best. Now there's another number on my screen there, the 888-888-6582. That's the law offices of Vincent Davis. There you can contact him and hire him as your attorney. Now, when you call in, you're going to reach reception. Make sure you tell reception that Bob Pace sent you. And when you speak to Mr. Davis, you tell him that Bob Pace sent you. That way he knows who you are. Now, he is background and licensed and schooled in the areas of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. That's what you'll need in dependency court, in family court. You'll need that background. And he's been fighting CPS for 39 years. He's gotten back thousands of children successfully. He also is a trial attorney. And he once was in foster care himself as a small child. So he knows the foster care system. He knows the foster care system. And so it really um, behooves you to get um, a attorney, because you need one to fight CPS. Fighting CPS is like open heart surgery. You need a professional that knows how to navigate and how to fight CPS. As you know, in open heart surgery, it's a very complex and very delicate matter. And so you have a specialized doctor. You don't have a plumber or a mechanic working on your heart. Same goes for CPS. They're very corrupt, but a good attorney like Mr. Davis will help you in the right direction. He also is a civil rights attorney. After your case is over, if your constitution or civil rights were violated, he will go and sue them. He will go ahead and sue them. He's won millions of dollars both in state court and federal court. So you could hire him to do your civil case also. Now, his typical money right now is that if the case is in LA County, California, that's His office is in Arcadia, which is in LA County. He has a retainer of $5,000. That's an approximate number. Also, his hourly wage is $500 an hour. Again, that's proximate because it all depends on the complexity and how long the case has been going on. How long the case has been going on. So that gives you kind of a ballpark. I know I've quoted uh, people that wanted to hire him because he goes to other states. It's a $125,000 retainer in Georgia and Wisconsin. So that's kind of the high end. But he is, he is the attorney's best. I hired him to get my children. Unfortunately, when I got laid off in 2010 through no fault of my own, I started fighting false allegations with CPS. Well, I needed money to hire Mr. Davis, and the only source I had was my home. And I had too many loans on it. And so I had to do a quick sell and then take the quick sell, pay off the loans, and then what left over I gave to Mr. Davis. And he fought for having my three children that were wrongfully taken and put into shelter and then a group home. It was terrible what my children had to endure. And but I did get back two of my three children. I have six, but the three older ones have families of their own and doing quite well. But it's really sad that I lost my daughter, who was 12 years old at the time, and she was convinced by the social worker and the judge and the CASA, the court appointed advocate, um, to support her, all encourage her to divorce from mom and dad at the age of 12. It's allowable in California law. And so she erased her name. She created a new name. She sealed her first birth certificate and got a new birth certificate, put her foster parents as the mother and father. And then on top of that, got a second social security card so she can double dip for my retirement. And then after that, she got adopted by the foster care parents. There's no attempt for unification with my daughter. I've not seen my daughter, my wife and I've not seen her since May 2nd of 2015. And 2000 August of 2015. Um, so anyway, it's a hard thing to talk about, and it did affect me, and it really has emotionally hurt me. The social worker did commit perjury while on the stand, and we could sue her, but I don't have any more money necessary to do the lawsuit. I still could. I still could. Now, when you talk to the office, you talk to Vincent Davis. He is a very kind and a very good attorney. And, you may say, well, I got a court appointed attorney or a public defender. That's won't help you in this case because they're hired by CPS and paid by CPS. They're corrupt. They only do what CPS wants to do, and they're loaded down with many cases, between 30 and 100 cases. That's too much for one individual. They don't have time to talk to you outside of court. When you come to courtroom, that's when they'll talk to you in a brief few minutes outside the courtroom. That's all there is. That's all you get. So it is a very hard thing to swallow. And they seem to attack parents like yourselves, like me. They're going through difficult economic times. When I lost my home, I had to put all my savings into keeping my home. And I kept my home for 7 years till I sold it, quick sale. And that was hard. That was hard. But but I am thankful and alive that I still have some of my family, but my family today is very disruptive. A lot of things were created out of the CPS, and it was tough. It was really tough. Um, anyway, I really wish Bartley very good luck to their court case today. And Rocky, what do you have new today to talk about the child protection system? So we have Bartley from Montana, who'll be leaving us shortly for court, and Rocky from New York. I'm open for you guys to call, and so I can help you. I've developed 5 rules that will help you with your case. If I had known these 5 rules, I would never in CPS. You know, CPS is a lot like Alice in Wonderland. You fall in the rabbit hole and you meet the Chester cat. And the Chester cat sends you to room where you go nowhere. And that's what CPS is. They'll keep your head spinning. They're not supportive of family reunification. At least my entity in Orange County wasn't. And over, I'd say, 50% of all CPS entities throughout the United States are bad. You just don't know until you get involved. And that's the worst case scenario, to be involved when it goes bad, to be involved when it goes bad. Good morning, Classical Mommy. Classical Mommy is from Georgia. Welcome to the live stream. She's a great mother, and she too had a CPS case. And I'm glad you're in here. Classical Mommy, Bartley from Montana has a court case this morning, She's going to have a status review of her case getting her son back. And we have Rocky in here from New York. So, welcome you all. And I'm waiting for you either to call in or ask me a question. I can talk about the 5 rules if you like, but I've said them so many times, I think you may be bored of them. You just got to be careful with CPS because they are very corrupt. Um, my 5 rules are very simple. Rule 1 is you need to get a real attorney. The court appointed attorney, as I said earlier, isn't going to help you, is not going to help you. If you're forced to use only a court appointed attorney, you need to make sure they work for you. You need to emphasize that that are 4 things you need to have that attorney know and present to the judge. One, that you're innocent. One, that you're innocent of anything you're wrongdoing. 2, you want to do family reunification. You stress that, real important, that you want to do that. 3, you want to have him tell the judge, make sure the judge knows that you will follow whatever he orders in court, whatever he orders in court. And 4, you want as much visitation as you can with your children, and whether it's Zoom or not Zoom, and whether it's monitored or not monitored, you want as much as you can. So you got to emphasize that. Also, tell the attorney, if he doesn't look like he's slacker, that you will sue him for negligence if he doesn't perform. And furthermore, you'll call the state capitol and talk to the state bar and have his license revoked by making a complaint. So it's really important that you get that attorney, and that attorney should be, like I said, Mr. Davis is trained in the area of juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Now, rule 2 is about documentation, and you need to document. You need to take pictures and do videos and recordings. You need to organize your paperwork into a notebook, a 3-ring binder that's thick, like 6 inches thick. And you want to put tabs in there so you can organize your data, so you can organize and find things simply. Things you put in notebook are court orders, your social workers' paperwork, and then the tests, if you're doing drug tests, the results, or if you completed a parenting class, your certificate, or you complete a program like domestic violence, you put the program in there. And then it's very important you create 2 other documents. One is called the timeline incident form. It's all as simple as taking a notebook paper, devoting 3 lines for each incident. In the first line, you put the date and time, and then you put the location if the incident occurred somewhere, or if you're on the phone and the incident occurred on the phone, you put the phone number in there. Then you put down after that the people are involved. Your second line will be a summary of what the incident was about. What the incident was about is a one sentence summary. And then your third line will be the summary, how the incident was finalized. If it's not finalized, leave it blank and come back later. But you do that for every incident. Skip a couple lines to the next incident, and the next incident, and the next incident. That incident time log form will be the most valuable because in 6 months you won't remember everything. And so that will help you with your memory and keep it fresh. So document everything. You need to document. Now, rule number 3 is that you do not want to allow them in your home. And you don't want to talk to social workers or even the police. You were taught at an early age, or supposedly taught at an early age, you don't talk to strangers. Social workers are strangers. Police are strangers. Your home is your castle, and your front door is your drawbridge. Once the door's up, your drawbridge is up, your castle is closed and secured. Now, we have a habit of sometimes leaving the front door open or ajar or not locked. You need to start locking the door and close it. And you need to tell your family and friends of a special knock or doorbell ring you have for them to get into the home. You need to tell your own family not to open up the door. And if you hear a knock at the door, immediately be quiet. Don't answer the door. Go to the latter part of the house and wait it out because they will attempt to come in, but they only can come in if you open the door and give permission, or another family member does it and gives them permission. So you don't want to do that. The reason why you don't want to open yourself to the police or the social workers, most likely they have a criminal matter they want to charge you with. And your constitutional right says that you will have an attorney that will represent you through all facets of your criminal matter. So that's why you don't answer the door, because you need to get that attorney. Now, if you're outside and you encounter them, very nicely, be nice to them, but ask them if this is a legal matter. If it's a legal matter, then you have to tell them that you're going to have your attorney present, and then we'll have to reschedule this meeting another time at another location. You don't want to ever have a meeting in their office or your home. You want to meet neutrally, like at the public library, Starbucks, or McDonald's, someplace there that you can openly talk, because that way you can take pictures and record the event when you meet with the social workers. They're not to be trusted. They're not to be trusted. Now, Rocky has said some other things here, and I got to catch up with Rocky. Rocky says a court appointed attorney screwed up and gave my brother a convicted without forensic evidence. Well, that's bad news. That's wrong. Me and my brother are going to file a bar grievance against our current court appointed attorney. Well, good for you. That way you get their license removed in the state of Virginia. Never talk to strangers. Yes, that's an old rule that was impressed upon children, and we as adults shouldn't. If you don't know the person, you don't have to answer the door. You don't have to be talking to them. If it's a legal matter, be polite. Tell them that you come back or meet with them when you got your attorney. And Rocky agrees, say no to strangers. Yes. Right, right, Rocky. Thank you for reinforcing the point there, Rocky. And I'm glad that you brought that up. We're on my rule number 3. I'm hoping that one of you guys will have a question that you may have. Now, further in rule number 3, if you did let them in the home, what they're going to do, they're going to immediately search your home. And again, if you screwed up that part, you can tell them, please wait. I need to have my attorney present. Please excuse yourself from the home. Now, they cannot take your children unless they're in danger. So, for instance, if they're outside and they hear screaming and yelling going on and children's voices, they will break in. They will break in. So that's why everybody's got to be quiet. If they have a warrant, you want to make sure you look at the warrant and read the warrant. The warrant is a court order signed by a judge that tells the procedure that they can do. So if they got a court order warrant from the judge, you got to make sure that it has a valid signature on it and that the clerk of the court has done a hand stamp where the perforations through the signatures, you can feel them and see them. Also, it's got to have a date that is a court date, a working date. It can't be the weekend or a court holiday during the weekdays because it's an older piece of paper and they probably tried to docker it up. So it's got to have that. Also, it's got to have the person is being accused, and if it's a mother and father, both names need to be on there, and also the children and what the children are being accused of: negligence, or abuse. Negligence or abuse. And then there's specific instructions that what they can do. They'll say on such and such a date, at such and such a place, they can come in and search your home, or they can come in and talk to you, or they can take your children because the children are in danger. So if you're at that stage with a court warrant, you really can't argue too much if that's what it says. But you got to spend the time to check to make sure it's a valid court order. It's a warrant. Now, if it says to search the home, they'll look at the home. The problem is the home may not be, it may be cluttered, or you may have had an accident where your refrigerator broke down and you have all this decaying food in the sink because you're trying to fix the refrigerator. There's things like that they'll try to ding you on. That's why you don't want to open your door. Also, the court order may say that they can take your child. Now, the CPS entity is thinking that the child's in danger. That's why they got the court to do that. Now, the police are only there to help, to assist the social workers. They're supposed to really be there to protect the social workers. Protect the social workers. And the social workers are supposed to be very professional. But they're not. They're not. You're going to have a terrible time with them. You're not going to make good friends with them. But if the court order says they can take the child, then you have to release the child. Now, they do that a lot to take the child to intimidate the parents. There's a lot of intimidation going on. They wrongfully traffic a child into foster care. Traffic is illegal. Also, they alienate the child from the parents, which is illegal. These are things they'll do and get away with. That's why you never open the door. And lastly, you never know if the person at the door will shoot you. You don't know that. Too many people have been killed opening the door. Too many people have been killed opening the door. There's also something called medical trafficking, and that's where you take a child into urgent care or an emergency room at the hospital. Unbeknownst to you, there's a social worker that works there now. And that social worker, we use the guise of taking statistic information or something, but really they're fishing. They're fishing to take your child away, is what they're doing. So you got to be really careful that you're able to answer things correctly if you get approached by them. Let me see what else here. We're on rule number 3. Okay, medical trafficking. Yeah. Um, I had a case where parents told me about their daughter, who was 4 years at the time, had stomach pains, and they first went to the hospital, and all they did is do a sonogram, and they thought it was her appendix. The problem is the people diagnostic didn't know what side of the pain was. I guess she was having pain in her left side. Her right side is where the appendix would have been. And they should have done x rays because she had gallstones and they're hard to pass out. So they went ahead with a false appendix removal. And later that night, the child was still in excruciating pain. So they went to hospital a third time. They had gone to 2 hospitals and wanted to get opinion. So this third time is they removed the appendix. But they also had to go in and check the gallbladder and the gallstones. They found that out. So anyway, it can be a very complex in here, but I was able to help the parents keep the child by helping them get an attorney and then also talk to them about what they can do during the trial and prove that they were wrong in what they did. Um, so that is one part of medical trafficking. The other one is when you go to have a baby. You got to be careful because when you're having a baby, you should prearrange who can be in that room. If there is walks in a social worker with a policeman, they don't belong in that room. They're not on your list. You're there to have a baby. So you can tell them, excuse them, wait out in the lobby. Because they're going to try to take your baby, even connected to a umbilical cord. I've heard about horror stories. Sometimes people take their job too seriously. So you can ask them to leave your birthing room. They're not on the list. When you have a birthing room at a hospital, you'll prearrange who can be in that room. Now, rule number 4 is how to research the internet about the child protection system. There's so much information I've learned by looking it up. There's 2 search engines I use, Google Chrome, and then I also use Chat GPT. That's a new one out. And Chat GPT is really thorough. I really like how they answer questions. Now, on the internet, it's very important that you phrase your questions right. That is so critical to put your questions right. The You should start off with the city, the state, and then spell out the child protection system. To say child protection system. If you're outside the United States, make sure you put your country before the child protection system. Spell that out. Then after that, you get a lot of information about that location, about CPS. But if you refine your research after the word child protection system, put in your question. I need an attorney for CPS, and it only search in that area. So it's very important that you have access to these search engines because there's so much you'll learn about your case. It's just very important how you phrase it and how you look it up. Now, rule number 5, my last rule there, is make copies of important documents like your birth certificate, your social security card, your um, driver's license, marriage license, your birth certificates of the children, their social security cards, their grade reports, their shot records, all these, and all these documentation like your marriage license, things like that, all are important to have, and you should have with you at all times. But they're copies, so if they get lost, you still got the original. You still got the original. Yeah, we have about 10 minutes before I have to end our live stream here because we have only to 11 o'clock and it's 10:57. So we have about 3 minutes left before I have to end our live stream. And I want to really, again, thank you, Rocky, for being in here and stating some information. And thank you, seeing you, Classical Mommy from Georgia. And Bartley, I think you've already gone on to court and stuck with your case, Bartley from Montana. So this morning, we really talked about my 5 rules. We talked about how to work with a court appointed attorney. I really want to help you with your questions and your concerns. In order to do so, you need to either be a guest on my live stream or text me a message that I can answer or call in. And I do want to thank the emojis. We got 2 of them. We got from Randy Jones Kilpatrick. Thank you, Brandy. And from Diane Mitchell. Thank you, Diane Mitchell. That's awful nice to get the thumbs up. That's good because I am here because I care about you. I keep doing this show time after time. I mean, it's over 1,500 shows, over 2,800 people I've talked to. But I'm here because I care and I know how hard it is to deal with the entity that you know nothing about. You know nothing about. It's one of the worst things in life that you ever can go through. It really is. But I want to thank you all. I'm going to put Department of Government Efficiency up because that's the last resort you have where you can talk to the federal government. Right now, you can go to your local county government and talk to the supervisors, managers, and the director. At the state level, you can talk to um, the ombudsperson or the civil rights coordinator. And if that doesn't work, you go to the federal and talk to the government of efficiency. They have a website. Check it out. It's pretty thorough. It tells you what they've done and how much money they've saved the taxpayers. Also, they have 2 phone numbers you can call and ask questions. They go to the White House. 202 is the White House. Then they have an email where you can send in anything you want that you need help on or whatever. So utilize Doge. It's something that President Trump had promised he'd do when he became president. He instituted there, and so it's been going along, and so far it's up in the billions it's saved so far of money. So with that being said, I want to thank you all. I want you to keep trying. Don't give up. Keep trying to get your child back. Come here for advice. And let's see. Yeah, I know that's kind of negative, Randy. Yeah, that's really. I know you're disillusioned. You don't want to retaliate. That's not the way we do things here, Rocky. I don't know what Dox is, DOXX, and I don't know what Grok is, GROCK. ChatBT, yeah, ChatBT. It's Chat GPT, not GBT. It's GPT. And what about the department? There is a Department of Health and Human Services. I don't think they help out with CPS cases. Anyway, I do have to go. My time's up. There'll be a brief video at the end of my live stream. Again, thank you all for coming to my live stream. I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. God bless you all and have a great day.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted. And if you go against it, it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the last ones left. Put your faith in